Again, guys, you're looking at live images coming in right now of a police chase out of Los Angeles. You're looking at that black sedan that is fleeing from police, surprisingly going at a relatively fast rate in the right-hand lane, especially odd at this time, 3:30. Rush hour starts in Los Angeles as early as 2 p.m. You can see that that vehicle is fleeing as fast as possible. We were reading reports earlier from the scanner that this vehicle had entered a parking lot. Looks like it had just made a right-hand turn. I believe that this car is being pursued in the San Fernando Valley. We're working to get you guys additional information right now. We have very limited information. We just know that police are pursuing this black sedan in the greater Los Angeles area.
Again, you guys, the LAPD is pursuing a driver on surface streets in the Sherman Oaks area. This is being called a car theft suspect in San Fernando Valley. All right, you guys, we are going to take you back to that Hillary Clinton rally in Cincinnati, Ohio, but we want to show you this breaking news right now of a police chase in the Sherman Oaks area in California. This is a stolen vehicle right now. Police are pursuing him in the San Fernando Valley.
Did you see that move he just made? He is really trying to avoid any possible stopping. He just maneuvered into a parking lot, went through it, made a quick right turn just so he wouldn't have to stop at the light. He's going obviously faster than the posted speed limit there. You can see that he's traveling at a faster rate in Sherman Oaks. This is the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles. He just passed a restaurant, Barone's, which is on Oxnard and Valley Glen. So he is north of Sherman Oaks at this point. I would say closer to the North Hollywood area. So we know that this vehicle is in the Oxnard, Woodman area, the area of Oxnard, Victory Boulevard, Woodman, Van Nuys Boulevard, the San Fernando Valley. I would describe this area as north of Sherman Oaks, close to North Hollywood. It's one of those things, for those of you familiar with the San Fernando Valley, where 1 minute you're in one LA suburb and the next minute you're in another. You could be in Studio City, Sherman Oaks, Valley Glen, Valley Village, Van Nuys, North Hollywood. So the best way to describe where this vehicle is right now is the San Fernando Valley. Looks like he is going through stoplights. I believe he just passed Victory, a 7-Eleven on Victory.
Here we go, back into one of these smaller streets. He just got off of Hazeltine. We're very well established in the Van Nuys, city of Van Nuys right now, and a lot of speed bumps. All these smaller roads out here have got speed bumps, but this guy, he's hitting those, keeps on going, working his way back. If he was on Hazeltine, whoa! He's working his way. We're going to be getting very close to the Van Nuys Courthouse. The next major, I believe, is going to be Van Nuys Boulevard. But working his way, running these stop signs, running every red light he sees. This pursuit continues. Officers from LAPD really want to start getting a little bit aggressive, bringing this to an end. I believe that's going to be Van Nuys Boulevard right there. Making that turn. Now we're going to be going northbound on Van Nuys Boulevard. And this street, just as busy as the rest this afternoon in the valley. Oof. You've been using parking lots. He's been using sidewalks. He's been working his way through these little tight spots right here, going through another parking lot right there, getting very close to Sherman Way. I haven't heard the officers say that, but whenever he gets in these parking lots right there, not clear if he knows if there's a way out. You can see one of those officers from LAPD right there. Some pedestrians getting in the way, working his way through these parking lots. It looks like he's going to box himself in, but he's got some gates right there. Officers from LAPD right now confronting him. Doors are open. Oh, squeaked right by there. You know, we know from watching so many of these that we got to talk about this parking lot real quick. You know, if he would bump that officer, if he would have hit that door, that would have been considered lethal force. That could have turned into something completely different. Look at him working his way right through that, right there, coming back onto Van Nuys Boulevard. That's going to be Sherman Way right there, and making a turn. Eastbound Sherman, he said eastbound Sherman Way, I believe we're westbound Sherman Way. But it's all good. It has been that kind of confusing. We've been doing pirouettes. We've been turning around. This guy using all the streets, wrong way, Sherman Way at this time of the afternoon. And his pursuit continues on out here. We're going to be working our way towards the 405 freeway, definitely in the Van Nuys area. And you can see this car not slowing down. Sepulveda Boulevard is going to be the next major. So much traffic, so many other people. I am just amazed nobody's been hurt so far. You know, great question. When he stopped at that Ralph's, I was really kind of curious. That was the first moments we got to look at that vehicle. I saw the door close. I really wanted to see if there was a passenger. Unclear. All we do know is that the driver behind the wheel, taking so many chances with other people's lives, he might as well be doing it with somebody else's in that car as well. But right now, we only know that driver of the vehicle swerving, weaving, hitting the brakes, and look at all the traffic. Anybody that drives in the valley knows right now is the time when it's really, really packed. Sepulveda Boulevard, that's where we're going to be in just a moment as he continues to weave around out here. He's going to be taking Sepulveda Boulevard to the north, cutting somebody else off right there. So many close calls, and it just continues. Oh my God. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how lucky some people are and how scary these moments can be, even though we see them so often. This is going to be Raymer from Sepulveda. That's the turn he just made. Raymer takes us into a more industrial area. I think this is still going to be the Van Nuys area, but it's a more industrial. But this street, I know it very well, has a lot of dips and bumps in it, a lot of curves over here as well. It's going to take him back out onto Kester if he continues these big sweeping turns out here. Kind of slowing down, making that turn right there, and it's going to take us back onto Kester right there. So he's back onto Kester right now, wrong side of the road once more, getting a little bit wider look. Yep, we are on Kester for sure. And the next major is going to be Saticoy as we continue on out here. Whoa, another really sharp turn right there. Whoa, fishtailing a little bit, almost hit another car. You know, these electric vehicles, you know, I can't say right off the bat, but a lot of times there's four electric motors on each one of those wheels. So there's four motors in there running that car. So that's kind of like an all-wheel drive, which really adds to performance, something that they don't really talk about because, whoa, oh, definitely got air there, and he kind of lost control when he hit the ground. So Very dangerous. Just continues on out here, hitting those hard brakes, trying to put himself into another cul-de-sac. Officers from LAPD right there behind him. This time he has got no place to go. This is going to be a pretty interesting little, trying to push his way out, hit that door, right into a head-on into an officer's vehicle. So now he's kind of boxed in, definitely. And you can see that officer vehicle starting to steam. Now, they've got their guns out on this one. It's probably some officers less than lethal, other ones not so much. The brakes that you see, the smoke that you see from the car behind the officer, that's going to be the brakes. The smoke you see from that car that you see with the shop number, that's that number on the roof, 374, that's going to be the radiator. Now, that car, his car stopped as well. Unsure how that's going to go because this is an electric vehicle. Don't know if he can still make that move. Number of weapons trained on this guy right now. Not sure what that driver's doing. I can kind of sort of see that he's got his hands, it looks like he's got his hands up. We're going to do some magic here with the camera. Just give us 1 second. But they're asking for less than lethal right now, asking for less than lethal force. So they're going to try to maybe blow that window out. That car just kind of stopped right now as this comes to an end at a cul-de-sac off of near Kester and Raymer. There's some of those officers you just mentioned, Sandra. That one rifle right there with the green stock, that's going to be a less than lethal type of weapon right there, possibly a beanbag or a stun bag, depending upon what kind of rounds he has in there. They may use those to blow out the windows on that car as well. These other officers, they have their weapons out right now. This is a very dangerous situation. Like you said, Sandra, this person may or may not be armed, but he's definitely been playing with a lot of people's lives this afternoon, slammed directly into that officer's vehicle right there, using all the might of the camera on Sky 9 this afternoon to get as close a shot as we can of that suspect. Kind of a little bit of eclipse. Appears that he may be on the phone right now, but this guy driving recklessly, taking so many people's lives in his own hands this afternoon. Definitely one person in the vehicle. It seems to be a white male, kind of a little bit stressed out now. You can just kind of tell by his attitude, the way he's moving around down there. I would guess no telephone, but it does seem that he is very agitated right now. Officers from the LAPD not too concerned about him having a weapon as they are this close to that vehicle. If that vehicle tries to put it in a drive, he's got no place to go. Totally boxed in. You can see another officer's vehicle right there backed into that car. And right now he is pinned in as he hit another cruiser. This all coming to an end out here in the Van Nuys area. Wild pursuit, not over yet, as that suspect still in that vehicle refusing to get out. What? Well, you know, these officers are assuming that this person not playing on their cautioning, using their best judgment. There you go, with what's going on right now. Just by their stance and the way the situation is, I would guess that they would believe that this person not armed. They would be a little bit farther away if they would believe that this person had a weapon, meaning a gun. He may have something else inside the vehicle that he may use as a weapon. This car was a weapon earlier on. We did see him get away with so many close calls, but in the end, he did collide head-on into an officer's SUV right there. Now, One of this, two of these officers right there have less than lethal weapons out. You can tell by the green stocks right there. One of them having a beanbag, that would be that rifle. But the rest of those officers, those are guns. And of course, they're going to keep an eye on this person. I know that they were concerned about civilians in the area, in that parking lot, in that industrial area. They were actually telling other people to get out of the way, to stay out of what they would say crossfire situation. If the weapons were discharged, they don't want those bullets to go through that vehicle, injuring anybody else. So right now it is more of a standoff type of situation. They are talking about getting other units into the area, but this guy right now not getting out of the car. Actually, it appears that what he's doing is not looking at those officers, which is an unusual type of situation, looking the other direction. These officers taking cover behind some doors right there, but they are working their way closer. They're going to be a little bit aggressive. They probably want to bring this to an end as quickly as everybody else does. There's another officer right there with another less than lethal weapon. So these guys want to take this guy into custody, the suspect into custody this afternoon without injuring any officers or that suspect right now. But it's kind of a standoff as he's refusing to get out of that vehicle after that collision. That car probably could go if it could, but right now it is really wedged in there between two law enforcement vehicles, so it is not going anywhere. But right now it is more of a standoff than anything else. He most definitely got out there. I actually saw him kind of pop that door open and stumble off, running out of the way. That was a move because, again, they don't know if that person had a weapon. They would want to bring this to an end. Right now, this officer going to bust out the window. There you go. They want to bring this thing to an end. And use it. There you go. They're already shooting those beanbags at him. They may be, they may have pepper in there or some type of chemicals that may, are going to work in a way that will be irritating. Here we go, another window. He's telling them, get out of the way. You're going to get some broken glass. Open that door. Boom, there you go. And there you go. Now the door opens up real well. And that suspect being helped out of the vehicle this afternoon as they're bringing this pursuit to an end. Oh, most definitely. LAPD, these guys, they're human beings just like anybody else. They wanted to bring this to an end, didn't want to turn it into some long, drawn-out thing. That one officer, you saw it. He used that baton to bust out those windows, and, it brought it to an end. That type of force is what sometimes you need to take a suspect into custody without turning this into, like, some drawn-out situation. It looks to be a very young guy that they're taking into custody this afternoon, so I'm kind of curious if that stolen vehicle may have been a relative's, but nevertheless, this guy was really a menace on the roads out here this afternoon. Good thing he's in custody and nobody was injured. Yeah. Well, you know what? It ended out here. I've been trying to get that information, just getting it from our desk. They rock. This is at Keswick and Burnett. Keswick, I believe, is a cul-de-sac. That suspect laying down right now, on his own will. You can see him kind of rolling around out there. Gosh only knows why. This person may be on some medications for all we know. But basically probably adrenaline for some time. And then we did see them use a beanbag round on him. So they are calling for an ambulance. And right now, that suspect in cuffs, sitting next to that vehicle. Officers right now starting to ask him some questions. Probably the things we were asking. Why? Is probably what they're asking right now. But they do have an ambulance on the way. They did hit him with one beanbag round when he refused to get out of that vehicle. It was some dramatic moments at the end there as well. The Ralph's thing was something really interesting to see. Never saw something like that before. The officers basically pulling up on the vehicle. He jumped back in and backed out of the Ralph's to keep the pursuit going. That happened at the corner of Burbank and Van Nuys. Then coming to an end out here with that suspect slamming head on into an officer's vehicle right there. Then a standoff until one of the officers used one of their batons to bust out the windows. And one of the less than lethal rounds was fired at that suspect sitting in that vehicle. That's just a beanbag. I'm sure it is very painful, but it would not cause any kind of death. And then he still refused to get out. They busted out the driver's window, and now you see him in custody right there. Maybe starting to feel some of that pain from that beanbag round, but definitely an ambulance is on the way. Officers are going to go through his pockets, get his IDs, and etc. That suspect in custody, coming to an end out here at Keswick and Burnett industrial area, probably more specifically, I would say we're just on the edge of the North Hills area.